self-doubt can cloud our emotional clarity. But what if emotional strength wasn't about constantly pushing yourself harder, but about mastering your inner world instead? In this episode, we're uncovering 10 transformative habits to help you become emotionally stronger. Habits deeply rooted in the wisdom of Stoic philosophy. The Stoics believed that true resilience doesn't come from avoiding pain or chasing validation, but from cultivating self-control, wisdom, and inner stability. Imagine beginning your day with clarity, staying grounded through emotional storms, and discovering strength through silence and reflection. These habits form the core of Stoic emotional resilience, and today, I'll walk you through how to integrate them into your daily life. By doing so, you'll begin to shift your emotional foundation, becoming more self-aware, empowered, and calm in the face of adversity, ready to strengthen your emotional core and gain tools that will serve you in every area of your life. Then let's dive into these 10 habits, guided by timeless Stoic wisdom. First, start your day by identifying what you can and cannot control. Every morning begins with a flood of thoughts: what needs to get done, how to manage the day, and what potential challenges might arise. But how often do you actually pause and consider which of these things are within your control? How much emotional energy gets wasted worrying about what you can't change? This first habit is deceptively simple, yet immensely powerful. Start your day by consciously recognizing what is within your power. The Stoics mastered this awareness, understanding that real peace comes when we focus solely on what we can influence and release the rest. They taught us to sort everything in life into 2 categories: what we can control and or the surprises life throws at you. When you try to control the uncontrollable, you only drain your emotional energy. Instead, each morning, take a moment to reflect. What do I truly have power over today? Your mindset, your actions, your choices, these are yours. Shifting your focus to these areas returns your power to you. Let's say you're anticipating a tough work day. Instead of stressing over how others might respond to you, put your energy into how well you prepare. We've all been there, when we let emotions like frustration, sadness, or irritation take the wheel. We often act in ways that don't align with who we want to be. The second habit for emotional strength is learning to pause before you react. This small but powerful moment of stillness gives you space between feeling and action. Instead of being ruled by the initial surge of emotion, you allow yourself time to process and choose your response consciously. This is not about suppressing emotion, it's about responding wisely. The Stoics were clear. We may not always control our emotional impulses, but we can control how we act on them. Epictetus said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." The inner pause is a way of honoring that truth. When an emotion rises, anger, fear, sadness, train yourself to stop. Count to 5, take a breath, or step back for a moment. This pause is a powerful gateway. It prevents knee-jerk reactions and invites clarity. If a colleague irritates you, don't lash out. Instead, take a breath and ask, what am I really feeling, and what's the best way to respond? Over time, this practice reshapes your relationship with your emotions. You're no longer a slave to them. You become their master. You respond with intention, not impulse. And with that shift, emotional strength takes root. This habit doesn't eliminate emotional challenges, but it gives you the upper hand in dealing with them, calmly and with integrity. The beauty of the inner pause lies in its universal power. It can be applied to any emotional reaction, whether it's the frustration you feel during a meeting, the anger that arises in a heated argument, or the anxiety that creeps in before an important event. Taking even a brief moment to pause helps. You regain control over your emotional state and redirect it in a way that serves you rather than sabotages you. This practice doesn't require any major changes to your life. It's about building a consistent habit of pausing, reflecting, and then consciously choosing how to respond. The more you apply it, the more emotionally resilient you become, and over time, it becomes second nature. Emotional strength is not about perfection, but about grace, composure, and intentional action. The inner pause gives you that power. So the next time you feel your emotions rising, simply take a deep breath and pause. Let that small moment of stillness become the bridge between your emotions and your response. Through this, you'll discover a deeper sense of thoughtfulness, confidence, and emotional control. Moving to the third habit, be honest with yourself, your truth without shame. One of the most difficult yet vital challenges in our emotional development is learning to be brutally honest with ourselves. Often, we shy away from confronting our own shortcomings, uncomfortable patterns, or painful truths. Rejection, failure, and inner turmoil can shake our sense of identity and worth. In those moments, denial and defensiveness become tempting shields. But it is in these very moments of vulnerability that true growth is possible. The third habit to strengthen your emotional foundation is practicing radical self-honesty, racing your truth, no matter how uncomfortable it may be. The Stoics knew that personal growth requires facing your flaws head-on, not with judgment, but with courage and clarity. They believed that wisdom and resilience come only when you stop running from who you really are. By removing the masks, admitting your mistakes, and accepting your imperfections, you create space for change, growth, and self-awareness. When you're honest with yourself, you stop pretending to be someone you're not. You accept the full picture: your flaws, your strengths, your pain, and your progress. Self-honesty isn't about tearing yourself down. It's about understanding yourself so you can build yourself up more authentically. Think back to a time when you avoided a hard truth, maybe in a relationship, a personal habit, or a professional decision. It probably hurt when you finally admitted it to yourself. But in that moment of clarity, you likely felt a shift, understanding, direction, and maybe even peace. Epictetus captured this beautifully when he said, "Know first who you are, and then adorn yourself accordingly." Strength begins when you take full responsibility, not for everything that happens to you, but for how you respond to it. By being honest with yourself, you stop blaming circumstances and start focusing on what you can control: your mindset, your values, and your growth. Begin this habit by carving out a few quiet minutes each day for self-reflection. Ask yourself the hard questions. Where am I not being truthful with myself? What changes do I need to make to live more honestly? What am I avoiding out of fear? This daily habit slowly peels back the layers of denial and helps you see clearly both who you are and who you are becoming. Vulnerability turns into strength when you stop hiding and start living in truth. And once you live in truth, you move through life with greater peace and confidence. So, embrace your truth without shame. Let go of the need to justify, explain, or hide. Own your journey, and you'll unlock a deeper emotional strength that nothing and no one can take away. Now for the fourth habit. Reflect on daily events. Carry a mirror for your life. In the rush of everyday life, how often do you stop and truly examine your thoughts, choices, and reactions? For many, the answer is rarely. We move from one task to another without ever looking back. But emotional strength is not built through endless motion. It's built through reflection. The fourth habit calls you to spend time each day, however, brief thinking about your experiences, reactions, and emotions. This is the essence of self-reflection, one of the most powerful tools for emotional growth and awareness. The Stoics, especially Marcus Aurelius, practiced this regularly. His personal writings, now known as meditations, were reflections on his day, his character, and his purpose. Reflection allows us to detach from the noise of life and observe ourselves with clarity. It helps us understand why we felt what we felt, did what we did, and thought what we thought. When we pause to examine our day, we start to notice emotional patterns where we lose control, where we rise to the occasion, and where we still need to grow. For instance, after a tense conversation, ask yourself, did I listen openly or react defensively? Did I stay true to my values or get swept up in emotion? This isn't about guilt, it's about growth. The goal is to gain awareness, not perfection. Even just 5 minutes of quiet reflection before bed can make a profound difference. Ask yourself simple but powerful questions. What did I do well today? Where did I fall short? What can I do differently tomorrow? Over time, this nightly habit becomes a mirror for your soul, one that keeps you aligned with your intentions and emotionally prepared for whatever comes next. Through reflection, you learn from each day, not by rushing past it, but by truly seeing it. That is how you become stronger, wiser, and more emotionally grounded. How did I handle my emotions, and what can I learn from this experience? This simple yet powerful question lies at the heart of emotional growth. Taking just a few minutes to reflect on this can help you recalibrate before your emotions spiral out of control and approach the next day with greater wisdom and stability. The Stoics understood that reflection was not only about learning from mistakes, but also about recognizing progress. It's not just about seeing where you fall. Short, it's about appreciating your growth, your resilience, and the quiet victories you achieve every day. By looking at your actions through a reflective lens, you allow yourself to acknowledge how far you've come, even in the smallest ways. So make reflection a consistent habit. Dedicate just a few minutes every evening to review your day. Celebrate what went well, learn from what didn't, and identify areas for growth. The more you practice this, the more emotionally aware and resilient you'll become. Over time, this habit builds the clarity and emotional wisdom needed to navigate life with strength and purpose. Now, let's move on to the fifth habit: practice daily gratitude. Remember what you already have. How often do you catch yourself fixated on what's missing in your life? The next goal, the next achievement, the next relationship. It's easy to fall into a pattern of constantly wanting more. In a world that thrives on ambition and consumption, we're rarely encouraged to stop and appreciate what we already possess. But here's the truth. The key to emotional strength often lies not in getting more, but in recognizing the value of what's already yours. Practicing of chaos. To begin, take just a few minutes each day to reflect strength, because it reminds you that even when things aren't perfect, there's still something worth appreciating. It helps you weather adversity with calm and clarity. Gratitude also has a powerful social dimension. When you express gratitude toward others, you strengthen bonds, foster trust, and create an environment of emotional support. It's a practice that uplifts not only you, but everyone around you. So tomorrow morning, start your day by naming 3 things you're grateful for. When things feel overwhelming, return to those blessings and let them anchor you. Gratitude will reframe your mind, fortify your emotional core, and keep you grounded in what truly matters. Moving on to the sixth habit, learn the art of letting go. Accept loss as a part of life. Loss is something we all experience. It can come in the form of a relationship that ended, a missed opportunity, a job lost, or even the fading of a dream. These moments of loss often bring with them a wave of emotions, sadness, anger, fear, and grief. When we encounter loss, we can feel like everything is slipping out of our control. But the truth is, loss is not a failure, it's a part of life. Learning to let go is one of the most profound and powerful ways to even when painful feels safer than the unknown. But in reality, the only way forward is through release. Letting go liberates you. It lifts the emotional weight from your shoulders and clears the path ahead. Whether it's letting go of expectations that didn't materialize, people who no longer fit in your life, or outcomes that didn't go your way, each act of release allows you to reclaim your power. In practical terms, letting go begins with acceptance. You acknowledge the pain or loss, you feel it fully, and then you decide not to let it define you. You redirect your energy from what cannot be changed to what can be shaped. This builds a resilient mindset rooted not in avoidance, but in courage. Letting go doesn't happen all at once, it's a process, a habit of the heart that deepens over time. But each time you practice it, you become a little lighter, a little freer, and a lot stronger. Learning to let go can begin with a simple but powerful realization. You cannot control everything, and it's perfectly okay to release the need to fix, hold on to, or define yourself by external circumstances. It's about accepting that even in the midst of lost weather, that's the loss of a relationship, a job, a dream, or simply certainty, you still have a choice. You can choose to accept, to move forward, and to trust that life will continue to unfold in its own way, often beyond your control. Letting go also means releasing your dependence on external validation. Many times, we cling to people, achievements, or praise because we believe they give us worth, but true emotional strength arises when we understand that our worth isn't dependent on how others see us. It is innate, unchanging, and rooted in who we truly are. By letting go of the need for validation, Emotional strength comes from your ability to rise above the noise and anchor yourself in what's truly important. Setting clear priorities means identifying your core values and aligning your actions with them, regardless of what the world demands. The Stoics, especially Marcus Aurelius, were masters of this disciplinary, minding themselves daily to stay focused only on what was essential and within their control. If you are pained by any external thing, Marcus wrote, it is not this thing that disturbs you, but your own judgment about it. When you clarify your priorities, you free yourself from the exhausting need to do everything. Instead, you become intentional, directing your energy only to the things that move you toward the life you truly want to live. Ask yourself, what is truly worth my time? What will I never regret giving my energy to? This simple reflection helps you cut through the clutter. Often, we pour time into responding to messages, fulfilling obligations, or chasing short-term approval tasks that keep us busy but disconnected from our deeper goals. But when you say no to what doesn't align and yes to what does, your life becomes purposeful. You create mental clarity and emotional peace because you know why you're doing what you're doing. This isn't about doing more, it's about doing what matters most. When your actions reflect your values, you move with confidence, and that's where emotional strength is forged. So take a moment today to define your top priorities. Decide what truly deserves your time, and begin making choices that align with that. And finally, let's explore the 9th habit. Practice mental detachment. Be present without getting overwhelmed. In our hyperconnected world, we are constantly exposed to new information, noise, and emotional triggers. Whether it's the endless stream of news, the expectations of others, or your own internal struggles, it can feel like everything demands a piece of your attention. But here's a vital truth. Emotional strength doesn't come from responding to everything. It comes from learning how to remain grounded in the face of it all. Mental detachment is not about becoming cold or indifferent. It's about developing the ability to observe life without becoming consumed by it. It's the art of creating a healthy space between what happens outside of you and how you allow it to affect your inner world. When you practice detachment, you stop allowing every comment, criticism, or challenge to shake your peace. Think back to a time when someone criticized you, or something went unexpectedly wrong. Did you allow it to define your worth? Or did you take a breath, step back, and respond with intention? The Stoics, especially Epictetus, taught that while we can't control what others say or do, we can control how we interpret and respond to it. It's not what happens to you, he said, but how you react to it that matters. With mental detachment, you become the observer of your life, not a slave to every impulse or opinion. You feel deeply, but you choose your reactions. Wisely, you are fully present, but not overwhelmed. Practicing this habit regularly will help you maintain clarity, peace, and strength, no matter how chaotic life becomes. Practice mental detachment. Be present without being consumed. One of the simplest yet most powerful ways to build emotional strength is through mental detachment. The ability to stay present in the moment without being overwhelmed by everything around you. Start with this. Recognize what's within your control and what isn't. You cannot control other people's actions, their opinions, or the outcome of every situation. But you can control how you interpret and respond to them. That's where your power lies. When you detach from the need to control everything, you free yourself from unnecessary stress, overthinking, and emotional turmoil. You create space to breathe, to think clearly, to act intentionally. This detachment isn't cold or indifferent. It's wise, it's protective. It allows you to set emotional boundaries. For example, if someone criticizes you or tries to impose their expectations, mental detachment helps you acknowledge their words without allowing them to define your self-worth. You can reflect on the feedback, learn from it if necessary, and then let go of any emotional reaction that doesn't serve your higher self. The goal isn't to shut yourself off from life. It's to remain centered, to stay rooted in your values while the world around you spins, to engage with people and situations without becoming emotionally entangled in outcomes, opinions, or expectations that are not yours to carry. So how can you begin today? Start by acknowledging this simple truth. You do not have to respond to everything. When something triggers you, a harsh word, a disappointment, a distraction, pause. Ask yourself, is this within my control? If the answer is no, let it go. Return to your center. By practicing this mental space consistently, you build resilience. You become calm in chaos. You respond with clarity, rather than react out of emotion. Set a daily purpose. Align your actions with intention. What's your why for today? Every morning, we're gifted with time, yet most of us wake up and let the day carry us, reacting to emails, scrolling endlessly, ticking off to-do lists. But without intention, even a productive day can feel empty. The 10th habit for emotional strength is this. Set a daily purpose. Not a long checklist, not a rigid plan. Just one clear intention for the day. One thing that, if done well, will give your day meaning. Ask yourself, what do I want to accomplish today? What will make this day feel fulfilling? What one action will move me closer to the life I want to live? When you start your day with this kind of clarity, your energy becomes focused. You're no longer tossed around by distractions or obligations that don't matter. You become intentional, and that intention brings direction, momentum, and peace. The Stoics knew this well. Marcus Aurelius wrote daily reminders to himself about how to show up with courage, with reason, with virtue. He believed that the happiness of your life depends on the quality of your thoughts. By setting a daily purpose, you're improving that quality, guiding your thoughts and actions with deliberate intent. And the reward, a sense of progress, even a small win, whether it's caring for your body, learning something new, helping someone, or simply staying calm under pressure, gives you pride. Purpose turns even the smallest effort into growth. So tomorrow morning, take a quiet moment. Ask yourself, what matters today? What is the one thing I will not regret doing? Then pursue it with clarity. This is how purpose becomes practice. This is how emotional strength becomes a habit. Final reflections, building emotional strength. One habit at a time. Let's pause and reflect. Emotional strength is not about avoiding pain or trying to control the uncontrollable. It's about responding with wisdom, choosing how you show up, and building habits that reflect your highest values. The 10 habits we explored, from letting go to mental detachment to setting daily purpose, are not just tools for surviving challenges. They're foundations for a more resilient, grounded, and empowered life. The Stoics taught us, true power doesn't come from the world around us. It comes from within, from our ability to act with intention, to stay calm in chaos, and to keep returning to what matters most. So today, pick just one habit. Practice it. Whether it's pausing before reacting, defining your purpose, or focusing only on what you can control. Start small, but start now, because the life you want won't be built in a day, but it will be built day by day. Thank you for being here. If this message resonated with you, feel free to share it. Let's continue this journey together toward wisdom, purpose, and emotional strength.